Hey guys, good evening and thanks for joining. So, am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, so morning we completed injection ply attack and second attack. So, I'm not going in sequence wise. Whatever important attacks as per the interview point of view. Once we'll completed important attacks, then we can go for OWASP top 10 as well. Okay. So, one of the popular attack in the interview point of view, and also so many issues will occur because this particular cross-site scripting attack. So cross-site scripting, another name is CSS. So meaning here, in the cross first letter is C, inside first letter is S, in scripting first letter is S. So CSS. Cross also we can represent the X. So that's why this also called XSS. Okay. Now how we can define this cross-site scripting attack? So first I will provide the definition, then what are the different types we have, then finally we can go for mitigation steps. So here attacker, this attack will occur when an attacker is able to insert data or scripts into application or web page the data or scripts, what will happen, inserted by the attacker, get executed in the browser and steal user data or sensitive data exposure are going to deface websites extra. So that is about cross-site scripting attack. So what is the definition here? So the attack will occur, how it happen otherwise. So attacker will insert some of the data scripts. That data scripts may be either HTML or maybe so Python or PowerShell or ASP.NET, anything, any programming language. It's not specific to only one programming language. So what are programming languages we have? It is applicable to all the programming languages. So into the application or web page, so that malicious data or scripts he will insert it into the web application or otherwise web page. Then what will happen to those scripts? It will execute it in the attacker, I mean end user website. So then it will steal the respective data. So that data may be either PCI DSS related data, that may be sensitive data, that may be bank related data, and so on. So that type of attack is called cross-site scripting attack. So under cross-site scripting attack, we have different types of cross-site scripting attacks we have. So what are the different types we have? First one is stored cross-site scripting. Second one is reflected. Third one is DOM based. So DOM full form is a document object mode. Document object mode. So these are all the three different types of cross-site scriptings we have. Okay. So now what is meant by stored cross-site scripting and what is meant by reflected cross-site scripting, then what is meant by DOM based cross-site scripting we can discuss. So in the stored cross-site scripting side, so whatever sensitive data is there of the end user, those data it can be stored in the attacker command and control server. So that is called stored cross-site scripting attack. Okay. A reflected cross-site scripting attack meaning here, so reflection will be come back from the backend server and stating that of the end user browser your browser is got impacted by the reflected cross-site scripting attack. Third one, DOM based. DOM based side request will not go to the backend server. So using existing sessions only, so reflection will be back. Okay, it will not go to backend server. So what is the practical way? I will explain now. So I will repeat once again. Cross-site scripting meaning here, attacker will inject malicious scripts into the web page or application. So those applications or web page, whatever malicious scripts is entering, it will execute those scripts into the web page. Finally, so whatever scripts he is executed, it can steal the data related to end user or sensitive data will be exposed. Maybe you can ask what is the difference between SQL injection or injection fly attack and maybe cross-site scripting attack. Injection fly attack is a dedicated backend server side, it will get compromised. Okay, so but on the other hand, this one is a completely on the client side as well, even backend server also, combination of both. Okay, so store cross-site scripting attack here, server side attack, this one reflected on DOM based, both are client side. So in the injection fly attack side, only queries normally attacker will enter, but here it's a scripts. So the scripts may be malicious scripts into the Python or PowerShell or HTML and so on. Okay, now we can go and we can see what is stored cross-site scripting attack. I will explain practical example. Maybe example, don't take it in negative way. Maybe you want to date someone. Okay, maybe you want to register in the LinkedIn, maybe couple of other websites as well, right? In that scenario, couple of websites, it will ask credit card or debit card data as well. Then only it will accept your account authentication as well, authorization, then account activation it will appear. Okay, otherwise those type of applications cannot be accessed. Maybe for suppose, maybe in the Facebook itself, consider, maybe Facebook itself we can consider, in the Facebook or in maybe one of the dating app, you liked one of the profile. So that profile maybe attacker maybe he created. Okay, so maybe at the time of dating app normally, so at the time of signing up the app, even that may be considered Facebook or LinkedIn, even other Twitter or Instagram as well. So what are the basic information normal it will ask? Anyone? At the time of sign up of any Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and so on, what are the basic information it will ask?
Name,
Name,
gender,
gender,
Date of birth.
date of birth,
date of birth,
and address,
address.
Including
Mail
all
ID.
personal details, including mobile number, everything it will ask.
Yes, that's right. So name, okay, so gender, then date of birth, mobile number, personal details, and so on. Okay, so as I said, couple of websites or couple of application, even it will accept debit card data only. Maybe for 1 week they will give, I mean, trial version, but after 1 week completely, it's like a paid versions, right? So 100% will take even that credit card data or debit card data, even net banking related data, and so on. We have to enter those data as well. Okay, that's fine. So you entered all these details: name, date of birth, username, password, your email address, mobile number, which country you are belongs to, your state you are belongs to, and so on. Even debit card and credit card data also you entered. So in that particular dating app or maybe in the Facebook side itself, you liked one of the girl or you liked one of the boy and so on. Maybe you can friend request. So maybe opposite, maybe that consider whatever friend request you given, that profile maybe belongs to attacker or hacker or intruder. Okay. So wantedly he created some of the dummy fake profiles and he created a profile. So then you thought like it's a real profile and so on. Then but you give a friend request. Okay, so after giving the friend request, maybe in that particular application, So he added couple of photos, he added couple of experiences related things, he had couple of traveling related posts and so on. So maybe you read everything. Obviously, couple of places like in the after the photo, I mean below the photo or below the story or below the videos. Normally, what are the buttons we will see? What are the buttons we will see? In Facebook itself, you can consider, or maybe LinkedIn also you can consider, or Twitter you can consider.
Sound.
like,
Like, share,
Like,
comment, share,
yeah,
comment.
like, share, comment. So these are all the couple of things. Okay. So normally attacker what he will do, wherever like, share, comment. So these are all the places. So do you think like when you're clicking on the like button, how that symbol will come? And who clicked on that one? In the similar comment field, when you're posting something, so it will appear your name and so on, right? So whenever you are clicking, so whether this particular option is possible without signing up Twitter or LinkedIn or Facebook and so on. When you comment something,
No, sir. No, sir.
no, right? So normally attacker, what normally they will do, so in the like or comment or share and so on, these are all the places they will inject malicious scripts in the web page. Once you are clicking on this one, now that malicious scripts it will take to deface websites. So deface websites or any other websites, that one will be made by the attacker or hacker or intruder. Now you commented something, right? Whatever sign up related data is available, everything it will go and it will store in the attacker server. That server is called it as so CNC server or C2C server. So at the time of sign up, whatever data you provided, all those data attacker is able to see. Cross site meaning here from existing site it will go to another site, that is called cross site, redirecting to another site. Cross site meaning here one more site, redirecting to another site. Okay, so that is the way how this particular so scripting will be happen, I mean attack will be happen. Now once you are providing those details of the whatever intruder, hacker or attacker related photos you liked it or commented and so on, shared it, so those are all the places attacker will inject the malicious scripts. Once you are clicking on those buttons, obviously it will go to the so malicious related URL links or maybe uh, even related deface websites and so on. Then your data it will go and it will store in the so respective attacker server. Even sometimes existing connections also will take. Maybe we have one more attack is the CSRF attack, cross-site request forgery. What is the difference between cross-site scripting and cross-site request forgery? So in the cross-site request forgery side, for already existing connection, attacker will send some of the malicious URL links. From there, he will take to another forged website. But in this scenario, from existing connection itself, attacker related server, he will take your data. So that is called stored cross-site scripting attack. On the reflected side, so for suppose you access facebook.com, so then you give an username, normally email or phone number and password, clicked on login button, right? So whatever existing connection is happened, so malicious scripts it will enter into the respective existing connection, then it will reach to the backend server and server will respond back stating that your web browser is got impacted by a reflected cross-site scripting attack. Okay, so which server, whether it is attacker server or whether it is our internal server? Anyone?
Internal server.
Yes, it's an internal server. Malicious one has done and it is coming back. So normally reflected wise, how normally we will see reflected wise. So most of the interviews they will share this one in the screen and they will ask whether it is reflected or whether it is a stored one or whether it is DOM based and so on. So how normally they will write this particular reflected cross script, even maybe several times it is occurred to you as well, but that time you are not sure about reflected cross scripting attack. So this type of attack will come regularly. So that's why our application should be always okay, should be sanitized and parameterized queries implement, input validation we have to implement, and so on. So example maybe using JavaScript language. So script script alert. So in the alert wise, what the alert normally it has to receive? Your web browser got hacked by reflected CSS or XSS. In such a way, one of the alert will come. Then whatever we are starting, HTML as well JavaScript, almost both are similar only on the fonting wise as well as the programming language. So whatever scripts we are entering, we have to give the backend slash as well as we have to close that particular connection. So this is the way. Now once you are accessing the malicious scripts, so what exactly you will see the alert notification? We will see alert, your web browser got hacked by the reflected cross-site scripting. In couple of interviews, okay, so like a Tech Mahindra, Huawei, and Wipro and Infosys, those are all the companies, especially Tech Mahindra side. If are going for pen test related interviews, they will share this one. Same example only they will share. Same example they will share. They means interviewer. Interviewer will share his screen and he will say which type of attack is this one. What is the answer he will give?
Reflected.
Reflected cross-site scripting attack. Okay. So because stored wise we cannot see backend server, right? So that's why normally they will not ask, but they will ask this one alert whenever it will come. That is called reflected cross-site scripting attack. Whenever in the screen they are sharing, in that screen it is showing as alert, that means it's a reflected cross-site scripting attack, either reflected or DOM based. In DOM based wise, what is the difference between reflected and cross-site, reflected CSS and DOM based? So here document dot object will be there, like a JPEG and so on, like a file formats will be there. But on the reflected wise, there is no file format. Alert will come. So your browser got hacked by reflected. So on the document side, it will show like a document dot object Mozilla Firefox. Okay, so x64 Mac OS. Okay, so then a JPEG dot image file. In that scenario, that one we can suspect as a which one? DOM based cross-site scripting attack. Okay, so that you should understand. Okay, so now DOM based, what is the main difference between these two? DOM as well as document, it is clearly showing as a document, manipulating the existing so session by inserting the data or scripts into the malicious data or malicious scripts into the application level. But what is the main difference between the reflection and DOM based? For reflection side, it will go to backend server and reflection will be back. But DOM based wise, it will not go to backend server. It will take from existing cookies or existing session itself. Cookies is nothing but storing of the data, temporary purpose. So it will take from those cookies and it will back the data. It will not go to the backend server to fetch the data from the server side. So that is main difference between reflected and DOM based. Okay. Now coming back here. So how we can type this one? In the reflected cross-site scripting, when the user is clicked on malicious data or scripts, it will go to backend server and it will be executed. and in the browser of the client, reflection will be coming as a reflected cross-site scripting attack occurred. So that is on the reflected side. So coming to DOM-based document object mode. So example may be script. So here it will come as a document dot object dash Mozilla Firefox or Safari, whatever it may, Google Chrome as well, and it is installed from your Mac. So nothing but you are accessing through MacBook or maybe laptop as well. That's fine. Laptop. So agent version is maybe 64-bit. That means what? So your laptop is using 64-bit number. And you are uploading or downloading. What is the file name? Document dot JPEG. Not only JPEG, even XML also, or even CSV as well. CSV reaction, download or upload. So this is the way it will appear. So now what is the script we have to write? So we have to write script close. Now you can see here document.object Mozilla Firefox. So nothing but here in this scenario, end user they are trying to access through Mozilla Firefox. That may be even applicable to Internet Explorer, that is applicable to Google Chrome and so on, Safari as well. Laptop means here that end user is logged in through laptop, that agent, so 64-bit laptop through HTTP 1.0 as well. If you want, you can include that one also. HTTP 1.0, the protocol 1.0 version. Document, what is the document? Either he's uploading or downloading. Document.csv. CSV is one of the file name. Okay, similar to like Excel or PDF and so on. Action either download or upload script. So this is one of the example. Okay, related to document object mode. So now what is the difference between main difference between reflected and document object mode? As I said, so in DOM-based cross-site scripting attack, the attacker will use already existing end user connection using either cookies or data, and reflection will be back as a DOM-based cross-site scripting attack. Meaning here it will not reach to the backend server. So that is about document object mode. So now what is CSRF attack? How we can differentiate cross-site scripting attack and CSRF attack? So even this one also existing connection only, but in that existing connection, it will redirect to another website as well related to attacker. It is similar to like a stored cross-site scripting attack. CSRF attack similar to like a stored cross-site scripting attack. Okay, so that is about 3 different types of attacks. One is a DOM-based, one is reflected, one is cross-site scripting attack. Now I will give one of the example. Now you can tell me whether it is okay. After completing third attack, then we can discuss. Now coming to mitigation wise, what are the mitigations we have to consider?
Web application
Anyone?
firewall. Web application firewall.
Only web application firewall?
Input validation. Input validation.
Input validation. Parameterized queries. Any other? WAF, that's right. Web application firewall. Any other? One more thing is there, that is called CSP. CSP. CSP full form is Content Security Policy. Content Security Policy meaning here. So which domains we have to allow, which domains we have to block. Even in the server side also, which IP address we have to allow, which IP address we have to block. So meaning here, whenever that request is moving to any other deface websites, like a fake websites, these content security policy has to scan that particular domain name, and it has to identify whether it's a blocklisted one or whitelisted one. So most of our business domains we have to configure as a blocklisted or whitelisted business domains.
Whitelisted.
Whitelisted, that's right. So most of our policy meaning a rule, nothing but either allow or deny. Even in server side also, so we'll say IP tables. IP tables dedicatedly applicable to Unix operating system like a Red Hat Linux or CentOS or Docker and container. So what basically these systems will provide? It can provide from which IPs connection should be established, from which IPs connection should be blocked out automatically. Nothing but whitelisting of the IP tables and blocklisting of the IP tables. So that is called content security policy. This content security policy, application level we have to implement, even in the server level also we have to implement. It's like one type of app control, web control we discussed in the firewall, right? Similar, almost same thing. So that is about the overall cross-site scripting attack. So next one, very popular attack. So as per 2017, it is not listed in the OWASP top 10, but it is listed once again as per 2021. That is called CSRF. So full form is cross-site request forgery. This is also called as XSRF, also called as, because cross means X, right? That's why XSRF attack. Also click jocking attack, also called one click attack. So many names are there for this one. So what are the different types of names? So one click attack or click jocking attack. Yeah. So one click attack or click jocking attack or CSRF attack or XSRF attack and so on. So many names are there for so cross-site request forgery. So as per OWASP top 10, we have seen server-side request forgery. So top 10 as per OWASP, you can see server-side request forgery. Okay. So in this cross-site request forgery, normally what will happen? So here attacker once again for already established connection by the end user. Already established connections by the end user. Those connections attacker will use. Example maybe I will say in the practical way. Maybe you open HDFC net banking or SBI net banking or maybe ICICI net banking and so on. You want to transfer some money. So once you are clicking on that particular one, so you will enter either username and password or customer ID, password, and you click on login button. So but already connection will be established using get and post request. So for those connect request, so couple of times we have it will come pop-ups on top of the whatever websites you are accessing. So those pop-ups once you are clicking on already for existing connection, it will redirect you to forged cross site. That forged cross site belongs to which one? That one is belongs
Attacker.
to attacker. Now attacker will take your session, whatever already account it is established, I mean connection established between you as well as the bank server, banking sector, backend server. So he will take the connection. Then from your account, maybe he'll transfer to his account. That is the way this forging. What is forgery? What is forgery?
Doing the signature of others.
Copying, sir.
Yeah,
Copying,
copying. So forgery, copying something, shadowing something. That is called forgery, right?
Spoofing.
Yes.
spoofing that.
So spoofing also, yeah. So that is called forgery. So then he will take that URL and finally he will forging that particular request and then he will gain the access. So that is called cross-site request forgery. Okay. So then how we can define this one? So this cross-site request forgery also once again client server, client side and also server side, both is possible. Client meaning here first one. So in the web browser level itself on behalf of you, like a spoofing mechanism, he will send the request and he will get respond back. That is on the client side. Server side meaning here just now I said, right? So instead of going to the server that request, it will go to request to the attacker. So two things are possible. Client side request forgery is possible. That is called CSRF attack. Cross site request forgery. CSRF means client side only basically. So we have server side request forgery as well. That is SSRF. Okay. So how we can define this one? For already connection established between end user and also to the backend server, attacker will forge by manipulating URLs or deface URLs or malicious URLs by shadowing or spoofing, then end user request will go to attacker and attacker will gain access and he gain data as well. That is called CSRF attack. Already connection established between end user and also to the backend server. Attack will forge by the manipulating the URLs. Nothing but he will pop up couple of malicious URL links or deface websites, or maybe shadowing of that particular thing or spoofing something on behalf of the end user. Then that request will go to the attacker from the end user side. On behalf of the server, it will respond back. So that is called CSRF attack. Now, how can we mitigate this one? So how we can mitigate this one? So there are two types of attack here. One is CSRF attack, nothing but client side. Second one is SSRF. What is SSRF?
Servers.
Server side. Now CSRF attack is client side or server side? Spoofing or forging will happen client side or server side?
Both, sir.
First one, this one, first one.
Client side.
Client side.
Client side.
So what about second one?
Both sides, sir.
Both side.
Server side. So first one is CSRF, when you will say it's a client side indirectly. So second one is server side also possible. So both these sides it's possible, you are right. So same thing similar to like whatever we discussed. Now coming back, how can we mitigate these type of attack? Mitigations. Anyone?
Input validation.
Input validation,
WAF.
WAF. Next one. anti-CSRF token. Anti-CSRF token, meaning here, as I said, most of our microservice related applications, for every connection established, so it has to generate a token number along with cookie ID number as well. Meaning here, for suppose if I want to say practically, for Facebook you are trying to access, in that scenario, after giving the username as well as password and clicking on the login button, for your user ID, so for your password, token number like a 1234, cookie number like a 3456 has to generate. So if that request will go to the server, then only server has to respond back. In such a way, we have to provide the conditions. So you are providing, if you are using anti-CSRF token, so for this particular user, this is the particular token number, this particular cookie number, this particular password. Now it is redirecting to other site or malicious or deface websites as well. That time cookie and session and token number will be changed. At least token number will be same, but cookie number will be changed. In that scenario, server will block it automatically. So that is called anti-CSRF token we have to use. So CSRF token is nothing but it's a hacker one. Anti meaning here. So like a virus is attack, antivirus is solution, right? For normally CSRF is a basically token it will use. For that one we have to implement anti-CSRF token. Nothing but indirectly what we have to say, token based authentication mechanism. As I said morning also, we have couple of token based authentication mechanism. Most of our application authentication mechanisms we are using Open ID Connect. What are the other authentication mechanisms normally we will use? Okay, coming back on the Windows side, we will go. First, we'll discuss about Windows side, then we'll come to application side. What are the Windows side authentication mechanisms we will use?
Two-factor multiplication, multiple factor.
Now that is multi-factor authentication even applicable to application as well. Then what is the difference between these two? We discussed on ports and protocols, one of the method.
Yes, sir.
Even we discussed in Sophos CDR tool also. Nessus as well. One of the authentication mechanism.
Yeah, boss.
Mutual
I'm sorry. Yeah, someone is saying that's right.
Mutual authentication.
Boss.
Kerberos. Kerberos is a mutual authentication mechanism. That's right. Client and server. In between, who is client here? Windows, your Windows laptop is a client, and backend server is a Kerberos server. Nothing but like a domain controller server. It can provide ticket granting system, ticket granting server, TGS, TGT. Ticket granting system, ticket granting server. Okay. So for every client, it will generate one ticket number. The backend server has to accept that particular ticket token number, and it has to respond back as server. Then client will authenticate. That is called mutual authentication. It's a part of Kerberos. So similar like SSL TLS mutual authentication we discussed, right? Almost, but that is on the application side. I mean, client and browser level. But that is not authentication mechanism. One more mechanism called SAML. What is SAML full form? What is SAML full form? Security Assertion Markup Language. It's one type of authentication mechanism. It will be used by applications. SAML, that is called SAML, SAML. Security Assertion Markup Language. So nowadays that one has a lot, so many drawbacks are there. That's why it is using token based authentication mechanism. Token based authentication mechanism is called OpenID Connect. OpenID Connect. Okay. Now coming back on the Windows side, one more mechanism is there. What is that? One is Kerberos, that's correct. What is another mechanism? NTLM. NTLM also. So it is a single authentication method. So I forgot full form. Basically, it will provide the connection establishment between the client as well as the server, but it is not like a mutual authentication. Kerberos is a mutual authentication, but NTLM is like a single whole back and server side mechanism. When you are entering username and password, it will verify domain controller your username and password. That's all. It will not use any mutual authentication mechanism. Kerberos is a mutual authentication mechanism. It will use a TGT TGS system. TGT server also will be available. But on the other hand, NTLM side, so there is no client validation. Just it will validate only username and password. It is not a mutual. Just only server side authenticate. Servers, it will validate whether this user is belong into our network or our organization or not. NTL, that is called NTLM. Okay. So most of the cases, so in our organization, we use NTLM authentication mechanism using multi-factor authentication. Okay, that is on the Windows or MacBook related logon related part. On the application side, as I said, SAML as well as even we have OpenID Connect. OpenID Connect always a token-based authentication mechanism. It will use one of the protocol name is called OAuth 2.0. OAuth, AUTH, authentication. Authentication 2.0 protocol. So existing protocol is 1.0. So meaning here for specific session, it will generate one token number. Once you are logged out, automatically session will be expired and even token also will be expired. So once again, you are trying to connect a new session. In that session, it will use existing token or new token it will be generated.
New token will be
New token will be generated. That is called token based authentication. Most of the case will use a JWT, Java based token authentication mechanism. Okay. So that is about authentication mechanism side.
Sir,
So
can you brief once
anti-CSL,
again, sir?
I will explain. I will give the separate notes on this one. Don't worry. Okay. So that is how these three are very popular attacks or interview point of view. Now we can go and we can discuss about a couple of other attacks as well. So fourth one is buffer overflow attack. Whether buffer overflow attack is available in the OWASP top 10.
No, sir.
Buffer overflow
sir.
attack is available in the OWASP
No,
top
sir.
10.
No, sir. No, sir.
Okay, what is buffer overflow? Whether it is applicable to only application? Whether buffer overflow attack is applicable to only application?
It is a vulnerability, sir.
Buffer, I'm asking whether buffer overflow attack will occur to only application or it will occur to some other devices as well.
Servers also, sir.
Servers also it will come. Where did we discuss this one?
DNS.
DNS.
Port ticket
Yeah,
file also.
DNS we discussed, buffer, and also I think when we discussed about manual vulnerability analysis, heap overflow.
Heap,
One of
right,
the
right.
RHL, yeah, heap overflow. I copied that heap overflow and explained what is heap overflow. That time I given short introduction also buffer overflow. What is buffer overflow? Did you remember or not?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Remember.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So now coming back here, buffer overflow attack. For suppose now coming back on dedicated to application side, what is buffer overflow attack? So maybe application developers at the time of development, they are using either integer or character or string or array or functions or stack or queue or oops concept or data structures and so on. Maybe they are using example integer. Integer meaning here what? Whether it's a number or character or something else.
Number.
Number. So maybe Facebook, how many characters it will accept for suppose example? Whether it will accept millions of the character numbers in the email field, like a phone number and so on.
Maximum 8, sir. Characters.
Phone number contains 10
No, sir,
characters,
10.
right? 10 numbers.
Password maybe 8, sir. 8 characters.
No, password 8 is a minimum length, but it's not a fixed one. That's what I said when we were discussing about brute force attack also. Nowadays 12 to 16 and 25 characters also they're expecting. In my organization, we are not at all using 8 characters. We are using minimum password length is 12 characters to eliminate brute force type of attacks. Now coming back, so at the development of this particular application, so they will use either example, maybe phone number you can consider. Integer equal to, they define 32-bit. That means how many characters it will accept? In the 32, it will accept, for example. So that is what they provided. That is like input or output. That is input or output?
Input, sir.
Input. For suppose it is accepting more than whatever it is defined. In that scenario, so what will happen? It's a overflow will occur. Meaning here for 32 only, it will occupy the memory. By mistake or bypassing something controls, it is accepting like 100 characters or 100 numbers. Whether it will use a less memory or more memory.
More memories.
Example, you are a developer guy. You are a developer. You define 32 here. 32 as a number, but it is accepting 100. In that scenario, it will occupy less memory or more memory, whatever you define.
More memories.
More memories.
Mere memory. In that scenario, overflow will occur. Memory utilization will be very high. So maybe your max, if I want to say in simple way, your weighing capacity may be 100 kgs, kilograms. If I'm giving 200 kilos, what will happen?
We can't lift.
We can't take it. We can't we can do weightlifting. Same thing is applicable to here also. So if I'm giving the so many characters or numbers, what are we have defined as input, in that scenario, so some damage or crash will occur back end. So that type of attack we'll call it as buffer overflow attack, flowing over whatever we have defined the size. That's why whenever you are, what is the mitigation now? Okay, now you got it what the exactly attack is. What the mitigation we have to do? What mitigation we have to do? What mitigation we have to do?
Input validation.
Input validation, that's okay, that's right. Any other? Only input validation?
Limit should be
Yes, limit should be.
applied.
Yes, proper limit should be applied. On top of that one, even we have to define a little bit more like a buffer. Okay, so maybe you defined 8 characters only, but we have to give buffer like a maybe up to 30 characters. Maximum limit we have to provide. So that way, in such a way, we can define this particular buffer overflow attack mitigations. Okay, so meaning here your input is 32-bit. That time you can define like a 64 maximum. Minimum and maximum you have to define. That's what I want to say. Minimum characters are this one and maximum characters are that one. In such a way, if you are defining, then there is no buffer flow attacks will be occurred. Okay. Now how we can define this one? Buffer overflow attack will occur when the application receives more input as compared to what are we define initially. Otherwise, not we, whatever application theme defined initially.
Sir, can we say that DOS and DDoS are of this type of only?
Yes, right. That's correct. Yeah, DOS. That's what I want to say. Even DOS and DDoS also one type of buffer overflow only, because there also it is accepting rate limit we are putting, right? So, but it is accessing so many things. If you don't put the rate limit properly, but that is not a proper method, but that is third option I said already. So first, as a first control, we have to define DOS and DDoS. I mean, anti-DOS or anti-DDoS tools. Second one is network IDs and network IPS. Third one is rate limit on the firewall level, as well as where we have to implement rate limit.
Proxy.
Routing in server.
Firewall, sir.
Server. That's correct.
Backend server.
Yes, backend server. So if it is providing more data or it is accepting the more input, then it will occupy more bytes. More bytes of the memory and also storage. Finally, server backend server will be crashed. So that is called buffer overflow attack. Now, how to mitigate this one? What is mitigation we said? So we have to define proper limit. That is nothing minimum and maximum limits. Minimum characters and maximum characters at the time of designing itself. So if I want to say practically, integer equal to 256 byte. This is the way how normally we will write the C programming language. Integer equal to 8, integer equal to 16, and so on, correct? So that is one of the examples. Okay. Now coming back, we will go on, we will see other attacks. These are all some of the 4 attacks. Normally most of the interiors they will expect. Coming back, we can go and we can discuss one by one now. Broken access control. Now we can give, all these answers. Now we can give what is broken access control? Anyone? What is broken access control?
Access between the server and the end user will be broken, sir.
So
And
what is meant by
the
that
middle-
one?
Man in the
Server
middle.
in the access.
Only in bit one man in the middle attack. Okay, one type is man in the middle attack. Okay, right. So like a privilege escalation. You are saying like a privilege escalation. So nothing but user level access he will gain. From there he will break and you will gain the higher level access. Not only that one, even user level also, we have to provide the sufficient permissions to the end user as well. So maybe that the guy wants to only read only he has to do, but you are providing the admin access. Example. So that may be L1 team. For suppose everyone is belongs to L1 team. If I'm giving L3 team, what will happen by mistake? What will happen?
He may take the
He may delete or he may modify or add and so on. He will do, right? So that is similar. Broken access control also, that it is possible via external attacker. It is possible even for internal employees also. That's why we have to implement what type of, to eliminate this one, what type of controls we have to implement.
Role-based access.
What type of controls we have to implement? Broken access control, broken authentication, and so on. A role-based access control, segregation of duties, or back. Understood or not? That is on the internal employee level. If it is external attacker, so obviously multi-factor authentication, next one captcha or security questions and so on. Okay, that is called broken access control. Nothing but it's a basically role-based access control. So whatever access is required, whatever privilege is required, we have to provide that one only. Broken access control previously, I think it is in top 6th or 7th one, not 7th. So now it is moved to completely first. So most of our internal users, they are trying to do inside the threads as well. Okay. So next one is cryptographic failures. Anyone?
Strong cryptographic should be there.
Cryptographic failures. Anyone?
Weak
cipher or weak
cipher if you
encryption,
Weak
then
use.
it
cipher.
will become.
Mm.
So that's the
Yeah.
reason strong cryptographic feature should be there, sir.
Yes.
Like
So
asymmetric.
this is also called a sensitive data exposure. Another name for cryptographic failure is sensitive data exposure. So if weak ciphers you are using, so like a sensitive data like GDPR, weak algorithms for suppose RC4, RC5, two-fish, blowfish, and so on. We discussed already. Data at rest encryption, data at transit encryption. So especially now we are discussing about application. Application will use data at rest or data at transit.
Data
Data transit.
Yeah,
Transit.
data at transit level. In data at transit level, encryption side, if there is weak algorithms, our debit card data, our credit card data, so even our passwords, it will be exposed easily. That is called sensitive data, right? So that is called crypto. That's why we have to use asymmetric cryptography with the strong ciphers we have to use. Can you give one of the examples for sensitive data exposures? Now we said credit card, debit card, and so on. What type of data? It will fall under which type of data? This one.
PII data. PII.
PII data. PII data. Which compliances normally it will be used? What is the complaints name?
GRC.
GRC. Complaints name. Yeah, yes, you are right. It's a part of GRC. Under GRC once again. Under GRC once again. GDPR. GDPR. General Data Protection Regulation. PII data. It's a part of GDPR compliances. Understood? So whether it is applicable to all the continents or only Europe continent GDPR?
Only Europe, sir.
Only Europe, you are right. So that is about cryptographic failures. Next one, injection fly attack already we discussed. So that is another SQL injection, even cross-site scripting also part of injection flaw. But in 2017 wise, it is I think seventh one, cross-site scripting attack. Next one, insecure design. What is insecure design? Morning also we discussed.
While designing, there will be some flaws.
Yes. So while designing, even we have to consider security. Okay. So nowadays, from past 2 years, if you are considering everywhere in design level also, we are considering vulnerabilities. That is called anyone? For design related vulnerabilities identification purpose, which process will follow?
Threat modeling.
Threat modeling. That's perfect. Threat modeling. That is about insecure design related. Security misconfiguration. Anyone? What is security misconfiguration?
Antivirus EDR not installed in every end user machine, sir. Firewall misconfiguration tools.
Okay, that
While
is on the
Security
configuring-
policies are
Policies-
configured not properly.
now are we discussing about OS or server?
While integrating the one tool with the other tool, some misconfigurations will be there.
Yeah, like a ports and protocols. Ports, protocols, services. Okay, SM tool integration we seen already in the firewall level. So that is also application, right? So firewall, we are integrating logs to SIM tool. We are logging to firewall log. Via application, it is going to, so like a syslog format is going to SIM tool. It's like application, but antivirus, it will not come here. So we are discussing application layer attacks, not OS level attacks. Even application hardening also we will do. Application hardening we will do. Hardening related issues, identification. Next one is ports and related issues, services related issues, access related issues. Instead of giving the even broken access control subset of security misconfiguration. How we can say that? Maybe instead of giving read-only access, he provided admin access. That is misconfiguration or not? For one of the application, Like a sim tool is application or not? Is it's application as well as tool as well? Maybe one of the person is joined as he has a 2 years of experience. So normally we'll give the read-only access. But you are providing admin access. Security misconfiguration or not? Yes, it is. Okay, next one, vulnerability and outdated components. Vulnerability and outdated components.
Finding
Can
the
you give 1 or 2
vulnerabilities.
examples?
Finding the vulnerabilities, and if there are outdated versions, we have to fix the patch.
Okay, where did we discuss this? You are right. Can you give 1 or 2
Vulnerability and
examples of the outdated versions? Libraries or packages?
Java outdated Java version.
Python.
Zero-day
Linux
attack,
operating-
Apache Log4j, Apache Log4j, zero-day attack. So then we have, yes, Java-based Python, PowerShell. In the vulnerability assessment kernel, we have seen kernel. Okay, their outdated version. So these are a couple of outdated. So every application, even it will use TPS as well, third-party softwares. I told you already. So where we have to run these scans, which phase of the which phase normally we will run these TPS identification as per SDLC life cycle?
Development, sir.
Development. So which tool we will use to identify the outdated third-party softwares? Can you give 1 or 2 name? TPS,
Black Duck,
Black Duck,
White
source.
Source.
It is there.
Keyring.
Yeah. Yeah, it is there already given here. Top it is available. Okay, that's right. Black Duck or White Source. So one of the open source tool name, can you provide? Can you provide one of the open source tool name? Snyk, SNYK. It's a very popular open source tool name. It can provide what is the latest one, what is the old one. Hey guys, everything whatever we are discussing completely pen test. In the SDLC life cycle, whatever we are discussing, almost everything is SDLC life cycle. Okay. Next one is identification authentication failures. Identification authentication failures. Can you give 1 or 2 examples for this one?
Brute force.
Brute force.
Yes, excellent. Brute force attack.
Brute force attack.
Brute force attack.
Password spread attack.
authentication.
Yes,
Password
yes,
spread
right.
dictionary attacks.
Yeah. Next one, software and data integrity failures. Software failure. What do you mean software? Okay, we will go software failure first. After that, data integrity failure will go. Software and data integrity failure.
Applications.
Older versions of the software, if you use.
That is already
Patch
outdated.
update.
Is there? No, vulnerable and outdated
Patch
components are
update.
there. I'm sorry.
Patch updates.
Patch updates are part of vulnerability and outdated components. That is already covered A06. Software. So meaning here, whatever code we are developing, that code wise, maybe you are part of one module in Facebook development. Whatever code we are developing, either in GitHub or Jenkins, or maybe what we have, Azure DevOps. In that scenario, that code should not be. Code is a software code. Example, you want to develop one of the product, Honeywell, or maybe Cisco, or Facebook, or maybe whatever any application you can consider, or any product you can consider. Philips is related. They are developing couple of products related to electrical products, healthcare products. Honeywell, building related products as well as aviation related products. In the similar way, Medtronics, dedicated healthcare products. GE, electrical, electronics as well as healthcare related products. Robert Bosch, what are the products they are doing? Once again, building related, healthcare related, electrical related, and so on. So whatever code they are developing, so do you think that every developer has the same access?
No, sir.
No, sir.
So software failures means that one only. So whatever code he is developing, For that particular folder acts only we have to give. So maybe 2 developers example, consider 2 developers. So maybe one person is developing module number 1 as a repo. Another developer is developing module number 2 as a repo. So do you think that module number 1 person, whatever developed the code, he can see the module number 2 guy? No. We should not give the grants or permissions. Whatever module number 1 is developing, that should not be seen by module number 1. Unless otherwise he's working on both the modules. So that is called the event that one, once we are providing the access, maybe module number 1 guy, he can delete the respective repos, whatever he's developing module number 2. That is integrity failure, right? So that's why we should not provide it too much access. So this is mainly for CI/CD, repos, software or product, whatever we are developing, basically modules or repos, like in GitHub or in Jenkins or Azure DevOps. Okay, maybe in 2 modules you are working on, yes, we can provide 2 modules access. Okay, that's called software and data integrity failures. Okay, so nothing but file repositories or file deleted things. One thing that is called data integrity. Software meaning here whatever repo or module he's developing. So maybe Facebook don't think that only one module will be there. Under Facebook, so many developers, they are developing the application. For home page, one developer, notification page, one developer. Under that one, so many developers once again. Okay. So next one, security logging and monitoring failures. What is this one?
Window events, we can do that.
Windows?
I mean, like we have that event viewer, which we do in the window events, right? Like logins from there. I was thinking that.
No, security and logging monitoring failures. So why we are going for Windows now?
Or simple.
Integration failures.
Yeah,
While
integration
integrating into sync tool.
application logs are not integrated to SIM tool. Most of the organizations, they are not integrating application logs to SIM tool. In SIM tool, they are not monitoring OWASP top 10 attacks. Understood or not? That means most of our companies or customers all over the worldwide. Normally, OWASP top 10 is an organization. They will conduct some survey. That's what I told you, right? 2010 initially, after that 13, 17 and 2021. Okay, so security and logging and monitoring failures meaning here. So every organization logging and logging side, but application related logs, they are not integrating to SIM tool, because SIM tool integration, see, firewall means direct syslog integration method. So next one, server, which method we will use? Server.
Character agent method.
Collector agent method. What about NetFlow data?
Flow character method.
Flow collector method. So these are all the different types of methods we will use to integrate the logs. But applications, it will vary from organization to organization. They will develop their own way, customized application. Sometimes we don't know what method we have to use to integrate the application logs. So for that reason, if are providing the logs to respective vendors like a Splunk or Exabeam or IBM QRadar or RSA, McAfee, and so on, they will develop the parsers. So ninth one is indirectly SOC operations are missing related to applications. Server-side request posture already discussed as a part of CSRF attack. So these are all the top 10 attacks. And if you know how to exploit these attacks, yes, then you are eligible for pen test related vacancies as well. So if time permits, most probably next Saturday or maybe 31st of this month, I can show practical SAST scans as well. But even though it is not, it's a part of our training, so I can provide that one as well. For cybersecurity SOC operation, that is not required. Maybe couple of times you'll get VAPT calls as well. I will show SSS scans in my organization. We are in check marks. I will show practical demo, but don't record that session. So that's all about OWASP top 10. Give me 1 second. So red team and blue team, what is meant by this one?
Blue team is the SOC team, sir.
What about red team?
Red team.
50% hacking knowledge.
Partially hacking knowledge.
Yeah, partially hacking knowledge over right. That is called red team. It's an offensive mechanism or defensive mechanism. Red team should have.
Both, sir.
Most of the offensive mechanism. Like a, so they should have the knowledge on so how to hack or how to identify whether application or server or IoT or mobile is vulnerable or not. Okay. So tomorrow what I will do, WAF I will start. It will take only 10 to 50, maybe 15 minutes it will take. Once it will complete, I think maybe I will start information security. So information security, it will take 2 classes, GRC, governance and risk and compliances. Thereafter, I will start cyber security. Most probably by Wednesday, I will start cyber security. Okay. So meanwhile, whenever I'll get a free time, so for me, couple of pending action items are there. Those action items are, so roles and responsibilities on EDR side, roles and responsibilities on firewall side, roles and responsibilities related to vulnerability management and GRC. Even SOC also have to provide because you'll get multiple vacancies, right? So those things I will provide, and I will attach Excel sheet in the respective folder wherever our regular videos we are uploading. And I will start even instant investigations related to practical one, how to answer in the interview point of view. Additionally, interview questions as well. Okay. So I will start by end of the another maybe 3 weeks of the time period. Okay. So we'll complete total end to end. Maybe most probably if I'll take daily morning as well as evening, by September 15th, I will complete. But if it will take maybe daily 1 hour only, it will take maybe September last week. Yeah, I will take evening as well as morning. That's fine. Okay, guys, do you have any questions in the today class?
Yes, sir. One question from my side.
Yes,
This
please.
one like domain object mode. So what is the keyword we can go for reflected? We have alert, right? So for DOM, which one is the keyword? Document or like what?
Document dot some configuration or something. Document dot object OBJ.
So how the interviewer will frame the question, sir, for us? So if
they will not frame anything. They will share one of the attack on the screen, and then they will ask whether it is a SQL injection attack or whether it is a cross-site scripting attack or whether it is a DOM-based cross-site scripting attack. So far I did several from my personal point of view. Give me 1 second.